5 years after this Black Panther Limited, we now have the Black Panther 2 from JNICE or JNICE. And this one is a huge step up from the original Black Panther. So JNICE has sponsored this video for me to tell you that the Black Panther 2 now is available globally and worldwide. Obviously, if you're able to buy directly from JNICE if you're based in Taiwan or actually in some of their flagship stores online globally, you should absolutely do so. Obviously, the team at JNICE have not seen this video before and they'll be watching it at the same time as you guys are. They just shipped me the rackets and let me do the rest. So a quick recap, this is the Gen 1 Black Panther Limited racket. And obviously it is one of the most unique rackets out there in terms of JNICE's range. It's built as an offensive attacking racket which felt super stiff but hollow at the same time. It also has one of the shortest racket shafts ever recorded on my channel here at only 20.5 centimeters, which makes its handling very unique. It's very fast, but at the same time, not that easy to handle. So this Black Panther 2 is actually an upgrade in terms of playability, but we'll get to that a little bit more when we go and do the playing test. At the moment, if you look at it visually, a lot of the black and silver has now transformed into a black and purple design. On the frame side, it retained a lot of the muscle ridges on the outside of the racket, which is similar to the version 1 of the Black Panther. And so on the second generation, you will see it from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock section, and then on the other side, from 9 o'clock to 7 o'clock region of the racket. In terms of the frame size, this has also been retained from version 1, so you will actually feel that in comparison to other modern rackets, the frame size feels slightly bigger and wider in comparison to other racket models. This is mostly a good sign because that also means that sweet spots are generally slightly larger, which helps with playability. But in terms of measurements, this thing comes in at 24.1 centimeters in height and 18.8 centimeters across. The Black Panther 2 is available in 2 weight classes. We have the 3U model here and we also have the 4U model. Obviously, I've took the outer grip off, which I normally do here for testing and measurements, but obviously, yep, both models play exactly the same. And actually, the dimensions measured across both weights are identical. So that's really a good sign in terms of quality control from JNICE or JNICE. Continue on with the frame, the Black Panther 2 also has a fully recessed frame profile all across the whole racket, except obviously from the muscle ridges side of things, but that means that this racket swings very smooth and also very, very fast. For the Black Panther 1, the racket shaft was slightly thicker in comparison to modern day rackets, coming in at 7.5 millimeters. And the Black Panther 2 has actually retained this design philosophy for added stiffness and also stability. So I measured the Black Panther 2's shaft at 7.6 millimeters in diameter, so obviously marginally thicker than Black Panther 1, but it was slightly longer than the original version. So this now Black Panther 2 has a shaft of 21 centimeters compared to 20.5 centimeters previously, and it is shared across both 3U and 4U rackets. That then also means that we will have a slightly shorter handle at 17.0 centimeters instead of the 17.5 centimeter handles from the previous generation. Generally, longer shafts also traditionally means that it is slightly easier to play with as they can be whippier or easier to control, but 21 centimeters is really down like the sweet spot and it is very, very common amongst top-end rackets. The 3U Black Panther 2 racket is rated up to 32 pounds in tension and the 4U is rated to 30 pounds in tension, so more than plenty enough for everybody. I strung it with my usual tension at 27 by 29, just for consistency as well. For me, air swings of this Black Panther 2 feel smooth, feel sleek and fast. It doesn't feel as hollow as the original version 1 of the Black Panther, so that means there's a little bit more solid feeling just from air swings itself. And here are the swing measurements for the Black Panther 2. Want to protect your rackets from chips, scratches, and even potential cracks? Have peace of mind with the premium racket protection tape from ckyreview.com/shop. They're almost invisible and gives your racket the extra layer of protection in case of scrapes and or worse, a clash. So go check them out, and we also have some limited edition signed prints there too. In terms of playability, this Black Panther 2 is a huge upgrade in comparison to the Black Panther 1. I found that this guy was a lot more user-friendly compared to the version 1. Version 1 was just fast and stiff but feels hollow all the time. Whereas this guy feels a lot more solid, which then gives me a lot more confidence with my shots when I'm playing with this Black Panther 2. So quite a big difference in terms of racket feel in the version 1 to this current generation here. Version 1 had a steeper learning curve which you have to get used to once you're coming in from other types of rackets, but this version 2, literally 5 minutes in and you feel like, okay, you can play with this, and this feels very, very natural, and you can continue playing a lot of your usual shots the same way as you are. This version of the Black Panther 2 certainly has a decent sweet spot size as well, obviously helped by the slightly bigger and wider frame compared to other rackets, but I found that if you catch the sweet spot when you're playing, wow, absolutely, it feels amazing and your shot carries a lot of weight to it. I wouldn't classify this racket as an out and out head heavy, fully attacking racket. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, this feels like more like a 7, 7.5 for me. So it doesn't feel like really like a sledgehammer, but if you catch it right in terms of the sweet spot, you will pack a punch with a lot of weight moving forward. You will not struggle to get power, especially if you catch your shots in the sweet spot area. However, one feeling that I found is when you are hitting a sweet spot, especially on huge power shots, the feel of the racket goes a little bit softer. This is probably because the trampoline effect from the sweet spot, but you will notice that slight change and slight difference in terms of feel. It goes slightly softer on those massive power shots. Obviously, if you don't catch the sweet spot, it does feel quite stiff, but this is normal, I guess, from all the other rackets that you normally play with. But yeah, if you catch the sweet spot, the feel changes a little bit. It turns slightly softer, not a big problem at all, especially during these big power shots. I think the biggest positive for me with this racket was how reliable and consistent it is in terms of its feel. For me, when I'm playing with a racket, I want the consistency and the reliability of, if I know that I'm playing this shot, I'm gonna get this shot, and there's no weird changes or surprises in terms of its outcome. For some rackets, in case if it's too stiff or if it's too soft, sometimes you get the surprise. You play a shot and it doesn't play out how you think it would be. But this racket, it feels very consistent. I like the reliability of being able to recreate those shots, shot after shot, especially when you're going for it. If you catch a sweet spot, even better. If you're not catching a sweet spot, you're still having that reliable shot making process. All in all, I would consider this as a pretty fast attacking racket. Not all an all-out head heavy racket, but as an offensive, slightly head heavy racket, this is fast. It feels like it's head heavier than the Generation 1 racket, and obviously the swinger measurements back that up. So for me, I don't feel like we've lost a lot of speed in comparison to the version 1, and I would certainly pick the Black Panther 2 over the Black Panther 1 for playability and reliability in terms of ability to recreate and play your shots, whichever way and however way you want. And also playing performance is also replicable over the 3U and 4U model. Personally, I prefer the 4U model because I like it a little bit faster. I don't struggle to generate that power that I like with the 4U racket. Obviously, I do find it slow with the 3U model, but that's probably down to me being not strong enough or not as strong as some of the professional players on the tour. I like the 4U model more. But with the 3U, you don't find that there's a huge jump and change in terms of performance characteristics. They perform similarly and consistently, just in different weight classes. For the 3U, obviously just a little bit stiffer and also more sluggish in comparison to the 4U. But obviously you will get an increase in terms of power, especially when you catch that sweet spot big time. So 100% happy to recommend you guys to check out JNICE's or JNICE's latest Black Panther 2 racket. They should be available globally in stores for you to check out. Also, I'll be introducing a racket from JNICE very soon. It's the Air Muramasa Pro. Let me know if you have any questions for the Black Panther 2. Leave them down in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one.